We are back, day 2. I dyed my hair purple. I've always wanted to dye my hair. It's kind of like a wild color. And, sorry, I know that I'm moving around a lot. I'm gonna put you down. See if that'll stay. There we go. I've always wanted to dye my hair, probably for about 3 or 4 years now. I've always talked with my friends about dyeing it purple or blue or something like that. And I very, very impulsively decided yesterday was the day. So it is now this gorgeous, almost like pinky fuchsia purple. And I adore it. I love it. I think it looks great. And I couldn't be happier with it. And I hope that y'all like it too. So, VEDIF Day 2. The topic of today is unusual experiences. I have quite a few stories to tell when it comes to something like this. I don't know about all of you, but I certainly believe in like ghosts and the paranormal and stuff like that. So I've got quite a few pretty decent ghost stories, or spooky stories in general, not just ghosts. But one of the ones that really, really sticks with me even to today, a friend of mine and I have this really, really close friend. We've been really good friends since about high school. She lives in the same city as me now. But when we had just moved in, I had lived here for about 2 years, I think, when she moved here. So it was her first summer here. She didn't know anybody except for me. And we were just walking down the street on our way to somewhere downtown. I don't remember where, but we were just walking around. And out of nowhere, there was this guy who, like, as you would with somebody that you've known for years, this random guy walks up to her and like shakes her hand and gives her like a pat on her shoulder, and he said, basically just like, "Hey, have you been a long time?" and called her by name. And it was just like, "Yeah, it's been really good to see you. Are you new in town? How long have you been here?" Just chatting up like they've known each other for years. And like it was the weirdest thing because I knew that she didn't know this guy. She knew that she didn't know this guy. But he acted like he was an old friend. And it was just the strangest experience. But what really got me was that, he knew her name. And it's not like I had mentioned it or anything while we were walking and talking or anything like that. It just came out of nowhere and it was the spookiest thing. So, anyway, that's one story. Another interesting one that I have, I was at a birthday party and it was my birthday party. I think I was about, I'd say 16 or 17, something like that. I had about 5 or 6 of my really close friends come over for a sleepover. The very stereotypical, pizza, movies, popcorn, ice cream, filling our bodies with absolute junk, but it was so much fun. And we were all sitting in the rumpus room of my old family basement. And we were all seated around the TV. It was maybe like 10:30 or 11 or something like that. Actually, it might have been closer to 11:30. But the basic setup of the rumpus room was that there was the hallway would be over here. So you've got the hallway coming in to the rumpus room, and then half of the room is on this side of the hallway, and half of the room is on this side. And the two halves are split by this one big long futon couch that we had. And then this side of the room was sort of like the living room area, and then this side of the room there was my aunt's bar and like home bar and computer and stuff like that. But we were sitting in the living room part. and I was sitting on the couch that kind of separated the rest of the room from us. And I was the only one sitting on that couch. My back was to the rest of the room and the hallway and stuff like that. And there's a light in the hallway, and then we had the lights off in the room. So anyway, we were watching this movie. I don't remember which one it was. And it was around 11:30, something like that, I guess. And pretty much out of nowhere, I feel a hand come up behind me on my shoulder. And it wasn't like violent or malicious or anything like that. It was just a hand. It was like somebody came up behind me and just like gently placed their hand on my shoulder. So I kind of freeze up and I look up at the rest of the girls that were all sitting in the living room or rumpus room, and they are all looking back at me. And as I look over to them, they all kind of go pale at this moment when this hand goes on my shoulder. And apparently what they saw was the light from the hallway. It was like somebody was walking down the hallway, like a shadow on the floor coming from the light from the hallway. And then the shadow sort of continued on behind me. And that's when I felt the hand on my shoulder. And they're all telling me, like, there's like a shadow, like, that was really weird. It was there and then it was just not. So I told them about the shoulder thing, and we still kind of tell that story to each other every once in a while because it was just so weird. But it wasn't like malicious or, really. It's not that it was really scary. It's just that it was strange to have this thing show up in my basement. But of course, I was convinced for years that that basement was haunted, that the house itself was haunted. So I wasn't surprised or anything. But it was definitely an experience. What else? There's been a couple other, like, smaller things. One time in that same house again, when was it? It was my little cousin's birthday. Or it was my birthday, a different year, my birthday. And right around midnight, my aunt, who was in the room beside me, there was my aunt and then my little cousin, who was just a baby at the time. And they were both in the room that was right beside mine.